Call to order the regular board meeting of the Niles Main District Public Library for February 18th, 2026 at 7:02 p.m.
Okay, trustee Sheeler?
Here.
Trustee Kadir is absent with prior notice. Trustee Schoenfeld is absent with prior notice. Treasurer Vitello?
Present.
Secretary Toy?
Here.
Vice President Rosensky?
Here.
President Key.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would anyone in the room like to make public comment? No. And I didn't receive anything.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Is there a motion to approve the
Oh,
consent agenda?
I'm sorry, I was waiting for you to say something.
Yeah.
Yes, I would like to motion, so we're both sitting here saying it. I would like to motion, or I would like to move to approve the consent agenda for this month. The approval of minutes, the payment of bills, the treasurer's report, the trustee report, the executive director's report, and communications and committee reports. I second.
Does anyone have anything they wanted to pull out? All right, vote please.
Right. Trustee Schiller?
Yes.
Treasurer Vitello?
Yes.
Secretary Toy?
Yes.
Vice President Rosensky?
Yes.
President Key.
Yes.
5-0 passes.
I would like to move to approve the action on the proposal to transition to new library website builder.
I'd like to actually pause you there.
Okay.
Sorry about
What-
that. Vice President Rosansky, before the board votes on the new library website builder, we do have a presentation. ready.
Okay, I wasn't sure if.
You want to approve it.
No. I'm still under the old,
Yeah, we've made a transition.
that
so-
you have to bring it up before you, but I wasn't thinking we have the discussion, the presentation first. Sorry.
That's
I'll make
okay.
the movement. Oh, we already did, so we already made it, so it's okay. Whatever.
So I'd like to invite our head of community engagement, Annie Tillman, up front, as well as Todd Miller, who is our digital content librarian with a new title that sometimes I still forget. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Great. Thank you all for giving us this opportunity to talk to you about our proposal for a new website. With Todd joining the team back in May, we've been doing some research and looking into different opportunities to improve our marketing and communications. And one of the areas that we identified, especially with some changes that are coming to our catalog, is the opportunity to make a more seamless interaction between our catalog and our library website. So our last website redesign was in 2022. In web design terms and lifespan, it's been 4 years, which is a long time to not have any sort of website updates or review. So this latest iteration of the website has not aged particularly well, and patrons have cited that there are usability issues as well as staff, and we've noticed a lot of things with accessibility that we'd like the opportunity to improve upon. So with this proposal, we'd like to move towards using BiblioWeb which will integrate with BiblioCore, which is our new catalog. So in 2025, the directors of libraries that make up the CCS consortium voted to ship to BiblioCore for the library's catalog. This change is currently in progress and will be rolled out to the public later this fall. And BiblioWeb and BiblioCore are both brands under the BiblioCommons brand umbrella. So when these two tools work together, the power that it has to be able to work towards our strategic plan is going to be incredible, we think. So I'm going to pass it over to Todd because he did a lot of the legwork and the research for this to kind of go over what we've learned and why we think this change is necessary.
Thank you. Go back.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so we feel like the four biggest elements that are driving this decision to try to go with BiblioWeb would be improved accessibility, which is number one, making sure everyone who wants to use the library's website is able to. Increased engagement with the library's website and with the library's collection. Improved user experience where, if you're using a nice, clean website, you're going to spend more time there than a website that's clunky and hard to move around on. And then also it aligns with many of the library's new strategic plans. So we feel like those are the four things that we want to touch on a little bit more in the next slides. So as you can see here, the ADA has put into effect a deadline for government agencies, of which we are one of them, to have accessible internet presences. And so our deadline right now is April 24th, 2026, which is coming up. That is for any government body that serves over 50,000 people. So we're at 59,000 residents, so we're on the closer end of that deadline. Yeah, let's go to the next one. So the library does have an accessibility fix right now. The current solution is called an overlay, which is what you see here. It's called Accessibe. These types of website overlays can adjust some of the elements of a website, but according to accessibility experts, they're not sufficient for offering a truly accessible web experience to everyone who has all kinds of different needs. So, like Andy said, I've been in CEM since May. Since that time, I've participated in many webinars and things like that about web accessibility. And usually, almost always, the recommendation is to try to avoid using an overlay like this, and that it's very hard to go back and retrofit an existing website to make it accessible instead of starting with accessibility in mind and building forward. So we have just a brief timeline here. So like Andy mentioned, in 2025, CCS directors voted to change the library's catalog to BiblioCore. And then in April, we have the accessibility requirements. So if we were to move forward, we would be developing the BiblioWeb website, and at the same time as getting ready for the catalog rollout, and then we'd be able to roll them both out in the fall.
So, just making sure I heard you correctly, you're not planning on using this new Biblio whatever until the fall with both of them go together, so they will work better?
So the implementation process is about 6 months because we have to essentially rebuild our website. But that also gives us an opportunity to make it more usable and clickable. One of the things that we learned going through this process and interviewing different vendors to see whether BiblioCore made the most sense, or excuse me, BiblioWeb made the most sense for us, was that you don't want to have more than 3 clicks to get to anything. And if we were able to show you, Todd did this wonderful project where he mapped out everything on our website. We can't even show it on a screen because there are so many different pathways to get to things, and it's not connected in a way that is logical and makes sense. So it would take a lot of cleaning up. It would also give us an opportunity to really think about our knowledge base and how we are presenting that information. And so it is a long process, but we would like to start it now during this fiscal year so that we can do those both at the same time rather than rolling one out and then rolling another out.
So hopefully I'll actually be able to find stuff.
Correct, yes. That is the hope.
And the process for that BiblioCore project is CCS libraries are going to be rolling out from between summer and fall. So we would land on the back end of that rollout and potentially roll them both out at the same time.
And that was one of the reasons why we wanted to propose this, is because we are going with that later date so that it doesn't interfere with their summer reading time frame, because we have higher traffic for all of that. After summer reading, we'll be able to kind of hopefully launch both at the same time for a more seamless marketing campaign to say, hey, look at all these wonderful new things that align with our strategic plan, such as bringing in new technology tools like the website.
Oh, yep. So one thing that we've identified with BiblioWeb that would be extremely helpful to patrons and staff would be the existence of a FAQs section, which is a centralized knowledge base. So it would cut down on the amount of pages that we have to have on the library's website, and we would be able to give staff and patrons access to all the same information in a centralized place. So nobody's guessing about what what happens here or there. Everybody's got the same information.
And another nice thing about this FAQ is this can connect to other pages of the website, and you only have to update the information in one place. So right now we're going and updating, for example, our reading challenge stuff. There are multiple different places that have that information, and we have to go through and remember and map out where everything is. This, it would just kind of all funnel back to the one location.
I take it Glenview is already using
Glenview
this?
is already using this, and we've heard really good things about their experience with it. Other CCS libraries are also moving towards this. Northbrook also recently approved a move towards BiblioWeb as part of the changeover with BiblioCore. So that's another impetus for making this proposal, is they're currently offering a discount for the implementation process.
One other benefit that we wanted to highlight with when these two products are working in tandem is so the library staff across the building would have the opportunity to engage in digital librarianship. So based on people's expertise and interests across the building, they'd be able to build book lists and news posts and things like that. And then those book lists and posts would then show in the library's catalog. So if in this situation you search for the term country music, the book you're looking for isn't available, but the next thing you see in the catalog is a book list that a staff member has made, which shows them other content that we do have that might be of interest to them. So that's a big opportunity that we feel that we would be able to give to all the staff who are in those kind of roles to be able to participate in that.
So we could also highlight programs, different book lists, readers advisory through this integration between the website and the catalog.
And one last thing about, so I spoke with the communications head at Glenview when I was researching this, and she told me that this feature is the most valuable to them with this website, that they're able to make these book lists, and then with the dashboard that they have access to with BiblioCore and BiblioWeb, they're able to see what patrons are interacting with, and then they're able to use that information for their marketing and purchasing. So they're making sure that they're providing the patrons with the content that's of interest to them, and that's how you get that data.
Okay, I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
Is BiblioCore replacing Polaris?
Yes.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, I was having brief conversations about this today at work, so, okay.
Yes.
It's not replacing Polaris.
No, what is
We're
it?
staying with Polaris ILS. It's replacing
Lead, the
the
left-hand
catalog
side.
component only,
Okay,
which is called PowerPack.
so
So
just
part of it-
giving the rest of you a viewpoint from what I spent like half my day at work today trying to look up books in the catalog and then look up books on our website, and it is a hot mess. I mean, I spent hours trying to figure out how many Big Nate books we had in both places, and they don't match.
Oh,
Because there's 30 Big Nate books. Having something that was integrated would have saved me hours of professional time today. So speaking from that perspective, I would be very excited about that as a staff member. I know that also however many libraries are in CCS now, everyone's getting this new catalog. A lot of people are going to follow with the website, I think. The ADA stuff that's come out that we all have to fix on our websites is very tricky, sticky thing, like, it's very detailed. I'm responsible for about like 4 different web pages on our website. And it's like, you guys said, like, you go here to click on like, oh, how do I volunteer at the library? Well, you click this button, and then, well, are you a kid or are you a teen or are you an adult? And you click another button, and then it takes you to another page, and then you got, and I have felt like, even before we had the new website, and with the new website here, I think that they're kind of clunky. I don't know if that's just a library-wide thing. I feel like most library websites I've tried to use are clunky, so if we could eliminate some of that, would be really good.
Yeah, and another thing with like applications and stuff like that, we use a lot of PDFs, and a lot of that information is not accessible in the PDF format. This would give us an opportunity to build that stuff directly into the website. So anytime that you would have to download a form, fill it out, send it back in, we can build forms more simply into this, using this website provider.
And so will Communico also work then with it, with the calendar?
Mhm. So we went through our strategic plan and we identified that this would help us support every area of our strategic plan. Goal one is to connect with the community. Goal 1.1 is increase community engagement and partnerships to meet people where they are. Website meets them where they are because they're able to access the library wherever they are at. It serves as a digital branch of sorts. It would also give us more opportunities to highlight our partnerships using that blog feature and that news feature to show what we're doing and who we're partnering with and tell the library story through that avenue. Goal 1.2 is enhance marketing and communications to increase overall awareness of library services. The FAQ page alone would help us kind of centralize and use that as a hub, being able to refer back to this and everything that we're doing to have sort of that hub of all of the things that we're doing and highlighting it all in one place will be excellent. Goal 1.3 is refine library programs and collections to meet relevant community needs. The data analytics that come from both the catalog and the website being in the same place would really help us see what is working, what's not working, and then respond to our community's needs in that regard. So if we know that there's high circulation on a specific topic, we're able to create programs and do more research and provide resources through that on the website as well. We also did a survey of patrons. We sent it out in our last e-newsletter. In 4 days, we got nearly 100 responses.
100 even,
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. 100 even responses. And we got comments like the one that you see here. I think various main menus and submenus need some work. It should take less clicks and various submenus to get the information that you would like. So this would help with one of those problems.
Richard says it wasn't him.
We specifically asked staff not to participate so that we got patron data. We did ask staff separately for some feedback as well. But responding to community needs, improve library spaces to make them more welcoming and accessible. Clearly the accessibility component with this. Going through just the implementation process, we're getting us up to speed with Library Core and getting our catalog stuff onboarded. They were very clear and concise and really supportive of making sure that everything that we are putting in it from the get-go is accessible. Our library color is just slightly off and it doesn't work, and they helped us to kind of refine and adjust that. So that's something that is really wonderful about this, is that we will have the support to meet that accessibility requirement the entire time that we are working with them. Goal 2.2 is to expand access to innovative tools and technologies to enrich the lives of community members. This will allow us to highlight our services in a digital space better. It'll be easier to make those recommendations, to highlight our new resources, all of that fun, wonderful stuff. It'll help us to do that expansion. Goal 2.3 is to diversify library services based on evolving community needs. We'll be able to see what they're clicking on more. And it'll be easier to kind of gauge where the interests are and what we need to do to support our community better. This will also be a huge benefit to staff, as Becky pointed out, that this will allow us to engage in digital librarianship. They'll be allowed and able to better support their community with their readers advisory tools by building lists that relate to things that will populate both in the catalog and then live on the library website too. It'll be a seamless interaction between the two. And then that FAQ section will really help us prioritize internal communication and collaboration to foster a unified work culture by having everybody have the same information and patrons getting the same information. So if somebody doesn't know something, they don't have to make 12 calls. It'll be easier to look it up in the same space, and then it'll be a learning opportunity as well to show the patrons, hey, you can find this too. So to summarize, a new website with BiblioWeb would really help us bring us up to that accessibility compliance. It would help us increase circulation and allow our librarians to reach patrons who use the library remotely. It creates a more pleasing and vibrant space for people to engage with our library when they're not able to physically meet us here. It will free up IT staff to take focus on other stuff, and it'll help us kind of centralize what we're doing and how we're doing it and allow other staff to help get this up to speed, and it aligns with many of our library's new strategic goals. Any questions? So we did give you a supplemental material that kind of highlights the opportunities and options for paying for this and where we could work out the timeline with BiblioWeb.
I know, I'm just trying to find it here.
I have a question with regards to the cost. What's the current expenditure for that's gonna replace this?
Yeah, so that's highlighted in scenario 1 is what it would be if we stuck with our current website. We would have to do a lot of work to retrofit. Accessibility has a cost to it as that overlay.
So you mean to say that right now we're paying about 15,000 to 17,000? Is that what it is now, currently? And then, the new cost would be how much?
So the implementation fee is, sorry, I didn't have it in front of me, is $11,000, which would give us a savings of $19,000 through the CCS discount if we were to act now. And then the annual cost for it would be about $22,000 each year.
I do want to clarify something. What we're paying right now is the $5,500 for hosting and support and the $1,500 for accessibility. The other numbers are estimates for what we would need to do to catch up to what this website would provide. So the change in actual cost is significant, but the change in anticipated costs is actually more favorable for the new website provider. I just wanted to be clear about that.
Okay. So, annual cost, just again, so I can just absorb that, about $20,000? Was that correct?
22.
22,000?
But then we would also, because of the way that it would be implemented by staff, we would be saving a lot of staff time as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you both
Thank
so
you all.
much. Really appreciate
Thank you.
your presentation.
Can I ask another question? Is this budgeted for this fiscal year?
It is not, but we do have money available for it. We budgeted for more print materials, but given the staffing that we currently had, or had up until this point, we now have Oliver, who has joined us today. He's our new graphic design and multimedia assistant, but we weren't able to do the print materials that we had budgeted for. So there's about $30,000 that we could put towards this, that I would be happy to move around to make this happen.
Okay.
They've also given us options for either starting billing this fiscal year or next fiscal year. So there's some options for making it work.
That's kind of,
Yeah, we really are.
sounds like the old layaway.
We want to take advantage of the $11,000 implementation discount because we're saving an additional $19,000 for that first implementation cost. They have a special deal right now because they're trying to get as many CCS libraries to move over as possible.
And that's, that implementation is a one-time cost.
So basically, the bottom line is for about $5,000 a year more, we're going to have something that's built on the ADA guidelines and taking advantage of them as a foundation as opposed to a Band-Aid that we're paying. And as this is all brand new. Litigation is probably gonna be changing, so right now the Band-Aid seems to be okay, but depends on what clerk reads it and what opinion is done. And then, that takes several months. A few libraries have also had the distinction of having to go through that. So legal fees add up, and then you still have to put all the effort in making changes. So this is taking the Band-Aid that we currently have in order to be compliant and actually doing it right and making sure that it continues to be right. And that foundation allows for additional benefits that you went through beautifully with the presentations. So.
And so for the 3 different options for the billing, is there a preference for those?
We can absorb the cost, so it's not.
So which one are we proposing to do then?
Help me out, where are we with the
On
3?
106.
Oh, right, okay, thank you.
Mhm.
I get it, oh, I do get it.
So the first one, if your invoice can be dated in this fiscal year, meaning the invoice for the implementation,
Yeah.
Mhm.
not for the full year fee, so for the
Just the
$11,000.
I think, and I believe it's 11,000 and a prorated
Yeah, it's gonna
2
be
or 3
prorated.
months of $5,800 to get us to the July 1st.
Mhm.
So 17,000.
But the approval would be not only to switch to this provider, but then continue with the provider.
Right, yeah.
It's an ongoing
Right.
annual.
And you would add that into the budget.
There would be no reason to come to the board every year to renew something that is just something that needs to get renewed. So that's, ultimately, is to move to this product.
One more question from me. Did you want to go? I thought you had a question.
I do.
Go ahead.
All right, then just me with my numbers, what is the total you're gonna ask for if we approve it tonight? Are you gonna ask for the whole kit and caboodle, the 17,000 plus the annual cost of 21,000 moving forward?
Mhm.
Yes.
So who's got a number for me? Okay, I'll work it out.
Sorry, we hadn't worked out the numbers. I was anticipating that the board might vote just to say, we move to approve the transition to BiblioWeb and under the proposal that the invoice can be dated this fiscal year.
Okay, can I make that as my new motion? Okay, second it.
No,
And
no,
then we don't have to
whoa,
worry
no,
about
I-
it until later. You can do your calculating
It
later.
would be 33,000.
Okay, I came up with 38,851.37. I'm only using the numbers from
From the page.
Yeah.
scenario
Scenario
2
two.
and the
Yeah.
17,000.
Well, we don't
So-
know what the prorated amount is gonna be for those 3 months. That's the
I
part
put that in the
we're-
17,000,
You
I
did.
believe.
Okay,
So then that would take the annual cost at 21,000 down a bit.
Thank you.
My question related to the overlap. So during this transition period, essentially we'll be paying for 2 services, right? And what type of overlap is it's gonna be?
It's about a 30-week implementation from start to rollout.
Got it. Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions?
I mean, it almost seems to me like it's like software as a subscription type service, really, that
Yeah.
we're gonna be paying that fee out for them to maintain it instead of us
You're absolutely
doing
correct.
all of
We're currently
the
paying
labor intensive
for,
work.
every 4 to 5 years, which is an eternity, as they have pointed out in the presentation. In order to jump versions of websites, this is like probably version 5 of our website, since we built it in the late
So can you read what you said before when I was kind of adding my numbers?
Yes, so the motion that I would suggest is moving to approve the transition to BiblioWeb with an invoice date for this fiscal year. So, starting April 1st, 2026. That way it doesn't have the final totals, but it approves what we're trying to do. Implementation of BiblioWeb and when we'll get started. And the final numbers will be reported to the board as all financials are.
Kathy, did you write the whole thing down?
Nope, she's
Okay,
writing.
I got it.
I'm just,
All right. I would like to, or I motion to approve the proposal to transition to BiblioWeb with the invoice date of April 1st, 2026.
Second. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, I had a seconded.
Okay, I thought, never mind. I could have quit thinking. Okay.
Yes.
Trustee Schiller,
Yes.
Treasurer Vitello,
Yes.
Secretary Toy,
Yes.
Vice President Wasatski,
Yes.
President Lee.
Yes.
5-0 passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You all.
Welcome, because the current site, I have trouble with all the time. I never know what to do. Analog or website, and then I think I have it right, and it's, no, you got the wrong one. So, okay.
I got to a point I don't even bother.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night.
You too.
Thank you.
Good night.
Okay, I gotta figure out where I put, here it is. So I'm reading it off of here. I moved for action on the budget expenditures not to exceed $69,065 for the purchase of replacement service desk and shelving for the library, furniture, internet, incorporated, whatever. International, excuse me, Inc. What am I? Okay. I have my real glasses.
So just an action, we'll talk, not a
So,
motion.
were you moving to approve it, Patty, or
Well,
do you want us to
are
talk
we
about it first?
doing it, move for action on, is what I said, but, you know, are we looking to approve this?
We're hoping to approve
Yes.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
then move to approve action on the budget expenditures not to exceed $69,065 for the purchase of replacement service desk and shelving from Library Furnitures International, Inc.
I second.
Does anyone have any questions for Richard?
Richard, just, what's the total, number of desks that are
Two.
gonna be? Just two.
The third floor here and the second floor, they were purchased back in 2012. We've had to move them a few times for more modular in construction. So after about 10 years of use, they are kind of being held together now by facility services willpower. So the new ones are gonna be a little smaller. The service points changed from a two-person service point to a single person service point. So they are actually quite large. And by having the single person, they are now in the middle where there's the bow. We've retrofitted them so that they can be a single point, but because of that, we've had to move some of the inner workings of the desk aside so people can sit where they need to sit in the middle of the desk, and that also doesn't help with the structure. And then the furniture or the shelving downstairs, the pinwheels have been here for a very long time, about 15 plus years. And although they look kind of nice, some people like, they really walk around. The amount of shelving that they provide in terms of surface area is less than what the collection is in that new and popular materials. And the head of adult services has been working with me for some time to try to identify better shelving that also is mobile. So if you've ever noticed, we have glides underneath those pinwheels so that we can push them out of the way when we need to. These will actually have wheels, and we'll be able to move them out of the way as needed. Because that commons area does have different events that happen, and having shelving that can be moved around from the center out to the perimeter would be very helpful.
And it's
something we budgeted.
Sure, thank you. And it's the color, the actual color that the rendering has?
So the color will be the blue of the library, but that color is just a blue.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks.
The desks are also gonna be.
oh, well, yeah, there's lots more in the metal. They're also motorized, so they will go up and down, so they can accommodate not just our staff, but also our patrons, who might have accessibility issues with our higher counters now. So, and it's part of the trend that we want to do with the lower level construction that we have, the team desk that we're going to be redoing as well, so that it has that ability, and to give a little bit more space. But this right now is just for the adult 2 service desks and the commons for shelf.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Trustee Schuler,
Yes.
Treasurer Patello,
Yes.
Secretary Toy,
Yes.
Yes, Vice President Rosansky, President Keen,
Yes.
5-0 passes.
Yay.
Okay.
Can I make a discussion about the holiday observance policy before there's a motion? Would that be okay?
Holiday,
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong agenda.
The
Yeah.
new one that I added on Monday.
Yes.
did you get a copy
Margaret
of
did
that?
put it out, I just put it the wrong way, sorry.
Oh, this must be it.
But yes, you may, go ahead.
Okay. So, this year, July 4th falls on a Saturday, which prompted us to start discussing what staff who work Monday through Friday will do with their schedules and what we've done in past practice for essentially federal holidays that are mobile, so sometimes they're on weekends, sometimes they're on weekdays. And what I've gotten from chatting with Lisi and Richard and Victoria is that our past practice for this has been somewhat variable, but we have most recently, when Christmas and Christmas Eve and the last 4th of July fell on weekends, we have closed the library, if it's a Saturday, the Friday before in observance as well as the Saturday, or if it's a Sunday, the Sunday of the holiday as well as the Monday in observance. This is not common practice on area libraries, but it is something that the Village of Niles does. They close on the observed holiday.
And an extra day.
Well, not, their offices are not usually open on Saturdays, so that's why it's a little bit different. That's why many places do the observed holidays, because they're not open on weekends. We just want some clarity as far as how to address this for staff, whether we want to close on the observed holiday and the actual holiday, or whether we only would close on the actual holiday and offer a floating holiday essentially to staff who only work the Monday through Friday schedule. So there are the 2 options that I outlined.
I know how I feel, but
How do you feel?
thank you. Very nice, thank you. I personally feel, I don't know how the staff would feel about this, but I personally feel giving them a floating day, because then, you know, people will say, well, because the people who work 5 days, you know, the 5 days a week, then we're closing that day, is what you're suggesting?
So
So like if it's on a Saturday, you'll be closed on Friday because all the people who would normally work on Friday, that would be their holiday?
the one proposal is to close both days, the observed holiday and the actual holiday, which would be a greater benefit to staff. And we have done it a few times in the past. Also, one of the reasons why we did it in the past is very often people will take their floating holiday at the same time, and then we sometimes have to try to call in part-time staff to work on days that they don't normally
So
work.
you might as well,
So that's, it's something to consider, and it's one of the reasons why we've done that in the more recent
Okay.
past. But if staff knows there's a floating holiday, we can plan the schedule better. So that's why we just want to know which way the board wants
well,
us to
I
go.
was just maybe wrongly assuming that people would much rather have a day they could take off at another time than necessarily the day after or before the holiday. Maybe I'm got faulty feelings on that.
I'm
it's
sure
only
some
a-
staff might, yeah, it's not gonna be a 100% preference either way.
And it's only a 2-week period before or after the holiday.
Oh, that they could take the floating?
Yeah,
Oh, well, then
it's-
that's a total different thing.
It's real hard, well,
It's a total different
back
thing.
in the day, it was hard to even schedule a normal floating holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're talking floating, this isn't a normal floating. This is only
No,
a
it's-
2-week, forget it.
All of our floating holidays have
Are-
that 2-week boundary on
Do
either
they
side.
really?
Yeah, always have.
Oh, that's kind of, I'm not
The
used
Fourth
to
of
that.
July is not regularly a floating holiday. This is an extra, we're talking about giving them another floating holiday.
We're talking about giving them either a floating holiday only to the staff who don't work on Saturdays, because this year it's on a Saturday, so we'll be closed, or closing for the 2 days. So, and it's not an extra holiday because the staff that don't normally work on Saturdays wouldn't work when we're closed anyhow.
I don't know how I feel. How do you
My
feel?
I
thoughts,
mean,
you continue with past practice and go with option 1.
Where they have the 2 days off. The library's
Library would
closed.
be closed on the holiday and either the day before if it was a Saturday, or they're closed on the holiday if it's a Sunday, and then the Monday also.
As
That's,
long as
you know,
it's,
done Christmas, New Year's.
and it's,
Oh, okay.
But that's always a Monday.
and normally, it is well publicized.
Yes.
And as long as it's well publicized, if somebody comes and they don't, oh, well.
That's what we're asking for. If we can build this language into policy, then we don't have to ask every time this happens. We'll just have a practice that both we can publicize at the beginning of the year when the calendar comes out, and staff will know how to schedule themselves.
are we
Okay.
open the day after Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Yes.
We close at 5 the day before.
Yeah.
But that's just early close. I mean, it affects, I think, what, 4 days, 5 days we talked about, July 4th.
Yeah, July 4th, Juneteenth is variable.
But we don't close.
We don't know,
No.
that's a
Right.
voting holiday.
So the ones that we close are Christmas, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. So a few years ago, we had to come to the board and say, hey, we just can't stay open because we would have to, I don't know where we would get the staff. Because they're all have to take 4 days in December.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so the board said, yeah, you can go ahead and close. Other times it works, you know, where people are able to take those floater holidays. It's just a matter of what the board wants to set as a standard for us.
Any other
I'm in favor of option 1.
thoughts?
I kind of like option 2 just because the library is not closed for 2 days in a row. But I can see the value of option 1. Plus, a lot of the library employees are going to be working Saturday anyway in the parade,
Mhm.
right? So I could go either way on that. So Option two, less disruptive to the public. Option one is
And
a
I
little bit more
understand less
convenient for.
disruptive to the public, but if it's well advertised,
Mhm.
hopefully they pay attention and realize, sorry, we're closed. Use the website, use the, whatever else you can get online.
So, we need to make a motion for one or the other.
One or the other, do you want to make the motion this time? Because I frankly don't care which one, or should I make the motion? And where is it written? Option one?
Mm-hmm.
And how would it be worded?
I move to approve option one, and then you would read it out.
Not this
You want
one.
me to do it?
Yeah, the whole
All
thing.
right, I motion to approve option one to ratify past practice and close for the observed and actual holiday. When a holiday falls on Saturday, the library will close on both the actual holiday and the preceding Friday in observance. When a recognized holiday falls on a Sunday, the library will close on both the actual holiday and the following Monday in observance. This provision does not apply to Easter Sunday. This update does not introduce a new practice. It ensures that the board policy clearly reflects the library's established observance procedure and provides transparency and predictability for staff and the public.
Second. Thank you.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Trustee Stewart,
Yes.
Treasurer Battello?
Yes.
Yes,
Secretary Toy?
sorry.
Oh,
Very eager.
Mark me yes anyway.
yes.
Secretary Toy, yes. Vice President Rosansky, yes. President King?
No.
No. That is 4-1, passes.
Thank you.
Mhm. I motion to go into, executive session at 7:50.
Second.
Yeah, 7:57.
All in favor?
Aye.
good.
All right, 9:08, we are back in open session. We have one item, action item from closed session. And so I move to approve a pay rate increase for Elia Soriano from the amount of $16.28 an hour to $18.96 an hour, effective March 1st, 2026. Is there a second?
I second.
Take your choice.
Trustee Shealer,
Yes.
Secretary Toy,
Yes.
Vice President Rosansky,
Yes.
President Keen,
Yes.
Treasurer Botello.
Yes.
All right. 5-0 passes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think the last thing on the agenda is the other, and Treasurer Botello has other.
Yes, thanks. I want to just simply let everybody know, the Finance Committee will be meeting, and the meeting date is set for March 19th at 7 p.m. And Valerie will make arrangements in terms of the location in the library.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Valerie.
Just to follow up, piggyback on that, the Personnel Committee will be meeting again also on, let me pull it up, April 8th at 7 p.m., Wednesday, April 8th at 7 p.m.
And I have a question. What about the policies committee stuff? You're still trying to figure out what we're gonna do?
Excuse me. That's a good question. What I had, I talked to Mayor about this. I'm sorry he didn't speak to you about it, but because I'm working on the personnel policies right now and the financial controls, I
And
just
I'm-
don't have the ability to work on additional
I totally
policies.
understand. I just thought I would,
Oh, absolutely.
because communications is very good here.
I'm happy to share, just so everybody knows, that's where we're at. We are working on policies
Okay.
just in different committees, and so this is what we have the ability to do
And
right
that's
now.
cool, because, you know, there's several policies, like one I mentioned earlier, that we need to address.
Mhm.
Is there, anyone else have other?
Oh, well, I don't know if this is really other, but the story time that Emma does
Mhm.
on Thursdays, phenomenal.
You
My
buy the kids?
granddaughter says on Tuesday, Grandma, we go in the library? No, sweetheart, we're going Thursday. She loves it.
That's wonderful,
Very
thank you.
good. And I like that we're going to a, register system,
Mhm.
because that room was really packed last Thursday.
Mhm.
Well, you know, if they have a good time, now, do we still have the Hispanic one? Because I know they
Every
use,
once in a while, yes. Mhm.
because I know I was there once when they were having it, and that seemed like a good.
Yeah, the Cuentas en
Good thing, too.
Espanol is very well attended. Basically all of our story times are very well attended.
And
Our
when the
staff does a
kids are
great
little,
job.
if you get them interested in the library,
Mhm. Yeah. Thank you, I'm glad that you attended. We've been doing a lot of really good programs, trying out new things. The tax forms have been flying off of our tables, so we're trying to help with that because tax season is a big deal for everybody. We've been able to give out the computers through our grant-funded program that we have where people can learn to own. And we actually just got an additional grant amount of money to purchase more computers for that program.
oh, that's cool, very good. Oh, something we had, never mind, that was in the, where we passed it all at once.
Consent
Yep.
agenda.
Yeah, consent agenda, because it would talked about the grant.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn this meeting.
At 9:15.
Second. Or did you second?
No,
I
she
did,
just said the
that's
time.
fine.
All in favor?
Aye.